Hey everyone, welcome back to the Path to Purpose podcast. My name is Kieran Williams, and today I'm going to be talking on the topic of what do we really want? Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking this week, and I thought that this would be a great topic to share. I was recently just reading a book called No Mud, No Lotus, which is a very insightful book full of lots of wisdom. And one of the topics that stood out to me was how it mentions about the things we want in life aren't always usually the things that we actually want. And if you guys haven't read this book, I would highly recommend it. It's only a short read, but it's very insightful and full of lots of good, great information. And for example, there have been several cases in history. People have reached the status of being a millionaire, had their dream house, their dream car, but still realized that they weren't truly happy. They weren't fulfilled, and this to me triggered a thought, and I'm asking the question, where does happiness really come from? And the truth is, it's possible for us to always be happy in the present moment. Whether something positive or negative happens in our life, whether things go to plan or they don't, when you bring yourself back to the present moment, there's always something to be grateful or happy about. It could be something as simple as where you are right now. Maybe you're watching the sunset, or maybe you're just tucked up in bed watching a movie, or maybe you're about to sit down and have your dinner. All of these things we take for granted because we experience them on a regular basis. And these things that we take for granted, if we imagined our life without them, only then would we begin to appreciate them more. But it's always a common thing for us to appreciate what we no longer have, because when it's just a memory, that's all we have left to hold on to, is the memory. But when you ask yourself the question, how would I feel if this thing was no longer in my life? You would begin to appreciate that you have it in your life now, and you will start to not take it for granted so much. Just by showing appreciation and value to these things, we can find the answer to what it is that we really want in life. So of course the question is, what do we really want? Most of us already have what we want. And what I mean by that is something that's not on a physical level, not like money, things you can buy, material things. But I'm talking about the things in life that form who we are as people. Things like our community, our family, our friends, our home, our safety, our ability to just even be able to walk to different places, to see different things. And this is absolute truth, because without these things, like if these things were just suddenly taken away from you, you would realize that it was these things that actually mattered most in your life. Of course, if you can see everything every single day, if you can use your eyes to read, to watch TV, of course, no one usually thinks about that, right? You never really think to yourself when you wake up in the morning, I'm really grateful that I can see today. But actually, by practicing that is practicing mindfulness and gratitude in a way where if you imagined yourself without that ability, you would begin to wish you had it back, wish you had your eyesight back. And that is a form of, let's call it like late gratitude, because you're now in a position where you took it for granted before. Now you don't actually have that ability to see anymore. You realize how important it was when you had it. And of course, this is one example. This can happen in many ways with things. It could be like how your last relationship was. Maybe you only realize after the relationships ended that actually you weren't as appreciative of it as you should have been. And that's when things like guilt come in. So it's always just about appreciating where you are now, what you have now, the people in your life, the things in your life, the things that make you happy. Keeping the things in your life that make you happy and appreciating that you have them and doing that on a regular basis. And this keeps you in that mindset of like, wow, I'm so glad, I'm so grateful that everything I have today is in my life. And of course, it's important to focus on your goals and to work towards achieving these things like a better financial status, the dream job that you want, all of these things. But the main lesson here and what I'm explaining is just to remember that no matter what happens in your life, good or bad, you always have the essential tools you need to find happiness within yourself. There is always something you can find. And it takes a lot of power, a lot of courage to find that and recognize that and really dive deep into that. And it can take time. And of course, for a lot of people, it might never occur to them. But at some point in their life it could occur, and they could look back and say, oh, I really missed that time. I really appreciate that time in my life when I had this. It's the simple things. It's always the simple things. Of course, some of you would also argue to say that winning the lottery would definitely make me happy, and there's no doubt that it would bring a lot of opportunity, a lot of new things into your life. But the reality is that we never know how long that happiness will last for. The happiness that we get from winning the lottery would be based on our financial status and our fortune. It would be, let's call it like cheap happiness, which is ironic really, because the idea is to find your happiness within yourself first, and then winning the lottery would just be a bonus, because if we rely on good fortune to make us happy, then we just aren't fully connected to ourselves, because we never know how long our money's going to last for. When our money runs out, does that mean that our happiness runs out? That's the kind of idea I'm getting at. Like, happiness can be eternal, it can be forever. You just have to look for it first, and then when you get other things that come into your life, it is a bonus on top of the appreciation you already have. And this really hit me today, because I was thinking about times in my life where I've relied on my financial status to make me happy. But actually, the more I work on my own happiness first, the more it allows me to be positive that I will achieve a better financial status in the future. When we become happy within ourselves, we have more positive thoughts. And when we have more positive thoughts, we can work towards our goals while maintaining a healthier mindset. So this is something really great to think about if you're currently struggling with your finances, or if you ever find yourself in a difficult period of your life. No matter what is going on, bring yourself back to the present moment and look around for the things that you could be grateful for. You will easily find something. This in no way means that you should deny your feelings of feeling sad or, feeling a negative emotion. You should never deny yourself of that. But essentially, it's about converting your mindset to see things more clearly and realize that everything in life is not completely negative, the same way that everything in life is not completely positive. You just have to bring yourself back to ground zero, because the positive and negative both come from the neutral point first, and then they go in different directions. So from that neutral point, it could either go north and go positive, or it could go south and go negative. But essentially it comes from somewhere, and that somewhere is the middle ground, the place where there's balance. So that's really just what I wanted to share in today's episode. I felt very inspired to share this with you all, and hopefully some of you find some resonance with it. And if you don't, then of course, as always, you can pass this information and only take what resonates with you. Only take what feels right for you. So on that note, that brings me to the end of this episode, but I hope that you could take something away from today's episode that will help you on your journey, or should I say, on your path to purpose. And as always, thank you for listening, and I will catch you all in the next episode.